So the thing is, entering into the spirit of it. I'm going to reference bodybuilding again because that's one of my passions, along with talking. I love to talk, but bodybuilding, I love it. But entering into the spirit of it, when you like a song, you can feel the spirit behind the person who made the song. You enter into the spirit of the song, or an artist. You enter into the spirit of the art. You feel the passion behind it. It's the same way with bodybuilding. You enter into the spirit of trying to build that muscle, so you've got mind-muscle connection. You attach your mind to the muscle you're trying to flex while you're lifting the weight. And that's a powerful thing. It ties into everything we do in life if we're going to be successful at it. You have to enter into the spirit of that thing. Well, if we enter into the spirit of ourselves, we're told that we're created in the image of God. There's only one universal power. So you can call it infinite intelligence, the universe, God. Either way, you are created by that thing. So that means you are an expression of that thing. And everyone has desires. And desire is a seed of wanting to do more, which is the spirit wanting to be fuller expressed and higher expansion. The spirit is always seeking more expression and higher expression. That's just the nature of spirit. If you look around nature, all trees want to grow taller. They never stop growing. Animals, they max out. Children, they go as fast as they possibly can until they hit the floor. They don't ever want to go to sleep. But as we grow older, we develop a thing in our mind that we think we can't do certain things just because, I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me, but I lived my whole life there. And entering into the spirit of it. Well, today is day 354 that I've been counting days of trying to be on this journey of self-improvement. And I can tell you that since I started that, my life has changed drastically. When I started, I had a really big problem talking to people because growing up, I never talked. I didn't do well in school because I didn't talk. I didn't know what to say. I was scared to death. Well, I had to enter into the spirit of myself. I had to find out who I was. What am I passionate about? And I'm passionate about talking to people. That we're capable of doing so much more, but it's just our limited belief of ourselves. And I'm so passionate about that because I noticed it so much in my own life. That I allowed my negative thinking to dictate all of my life. And then I come to find out, started reading books and buying books, and a book would lead to a book, and you read one book and it tells you to read another book. Well, eventually, now I have like close to 300 books. A year ago, I didn't have that many. I just kept going. That's why you hear me say a lot, keep going. Because you can't see yourself. You can't see what's going to happen in between now and a year from now if you don't stop going after that specific thing that you want to go after. It doesn't matter what it is. If you hold the image in your mind, by law, you have to attract those things. Well, it's not a thing where you just sit back and you don't do anything. That's part of entering into the spirit of it. To enter into the spirit of it, you have to become like that thing. So the more that you enter into the spirit of whatever that dream is that you have, you start to develop into that person. You kind of work backwards. You start from the end and you work now as that end result. If I want to be a speaker, then I have to start acting like that speaker would act in every single thing I do. It doesn't mean I go and quit my job. I quit doing this, quit doing that because it's not directly in line with being a speaker. It means I enter into the spirit of being a speaker right now. That means every relationship that at work, at the gym, going here, going to there, I act as if I'm already that person. And by doing that, the law of attraction kicks in and you start to attract new ideas, new people, just because you entered into the spirit of being that thing. For me, it will be bodybuilding, speaker, love, an expression of God, of universe. And everything in the universe fulfills its full purpose to the max. I like this expression when you look at children. Children are happy and they do everything to the max. A kid will jump up on the coffee table and be dancing until he's told we don't dance on coffee tables. He doesn't understand, but that's what he's told, so that's the way his learning goes. He wants to be an astronaut, so he pretends to be an astronaut. What if he never stopped pretending to be an astronaut? What if he just kept going? What if that just never stopped? He would attract to him everything to do with being an astronaut. That's the only way you do anything. If you pick a thing you want to go to school for, whether it be lawyer, dentist, a nurse, well, by making that decision, then you start to look at colleges. Which college is best for nursing? Which one do I want to go to? And then you start to you have to sign up for classes in line with that specific goal. That's just a basic way of saying there's a system for certain things, but maybe what you want to do, you have to search it out on your own. You don't need to go and do the system if you want to do whatever you want to do. If it's bodybuilding, there's plenty of people to study. There's no definite school that you need to go to be a bodybuilder. If you want to learn to play the guitar, or if you want to learn how to draw, you enter into the spirit of being a drawer right now. Even if you can't draw, you start doing what you can where you're at to do that thing. I struggled so much with this bodybuilder idea because I grew up overweight. I thought I couldn't do that. I was addicted to eating bad foods. I thought that was just in the nature of who I was. I'm just going to be, overweight for the rest of my life. I didn't know I had to change my attitude. I had to start eating different. It was going to be hard. I was going to want the food, but I don't have to eat it. I didn't know all these things but as you keep going and you hold the image in your mind, eventually that spirit of that thing starts to develop more than the old you. The old conditioning fades away. The new conditioning starts to enter. This is why I say enter into the spirit of it. And at your core, you are an expression of the one universal power, God, infinite intelligence. So if you enter into the spirit of that constantly, and you hold the image in your mind, naturally and by law of the universe, you have to become more like that. And there's something very specific that you want to do. Everybody has a different image. You could be wanting to be the best mechanic. You could want to be the best concrete company, whatever it may be. You want to create a school for the blind that's different than any school of the blind that's ever been made. It doesn't matter which one goal you have. If you're passionate about it, the law of the universe says the more you enter into the spirit of that thing, the spirit wants to express itself more and wants to express itself more in the direction of whatever your dream is. It's no different than planting a tomato seed and the universe combining molecules to that seed to grow it and eventually produce a tomato. Not just one, it has a lot. There wasn't tomatoes inside of that tomato seed, no. It attracted from the ether all things needed to produce that tomato seed. That tomato, or a tree, or pine tree, whatever the case may be. And it all follows a system. You don't get tomatoes in the winter. You have to plant them at the right time. Well, it's the same way with us. You have to know there's going to be seasons in your life, but every day is the season to sow the seed of your dream. It doesn't matter what it is. You can create bigger and better plans, descriptions in the direction of what you want to become. I'm going to use mine as bodybuilder. I've looked at and studied how Arnold Schwarzenegger did what he did. Well, he had a vision for himself. He had a vision for himself as a actor, as a businessman, as a bodybuilder. He wanted to be the best in the world. Well, how did he do that? He had the spirit. He entered into the spirit of that thing. He envisioned himself doing it. He put in a lot of effort. He did everything in the direction of businessman, actor, and bodybuilder. And he became all of those things. But it started with the seed of an idea in his mind. This is the same with anyone who becomes massively successful. They just never give up on their dream. But we just tend to think that these people are special. These people are not special. We're all exactly the same. We all have the exact same potential, amount of time, resources, and energy. There's no lack of energy. Everyone has exactly the same amount. You have the exact same ability to work on your imagination, your discipline to pay attention to what you want to do, to focus on it, and that's how you get results. It's kind of the same way whenever I got this sunburn on my face. Even though sometimes when I'm out in the sun and the sun is not shining, there's no sun, it's very overcast, but there's still light outside, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm not going to get a sunburn, the sun's not out. Well, just because I can't see the sun doesn't mean that the UV rays are not still in the air causing me to get sunburned. It's the same way whenever you set out to do your life's dream. Even though you can't see any results, it doesn't mean it's not working. But just because we can't see it, we have the attitude that it's not working. So we stop. We don't focus long enough in our mind. And our thinking is the only thing that we have absolute control over. You can't control anything else except for your thinking. And you can focus on what you want if you work at it. It's not an easy thing because it's not something that's taught normally by school. You don't grow up learning these things unless someone else knew. That's not a common thing that people know. Or if it is, I didn't know about it. My personal life, I never got taught this stuff. No one taught me how to make a goal for myself, write out a written description of it, and keep reading that description every day, several times a day. And when I started to do it, it didn't make sense. It was making me angry. That's part of the resistance. It's the old conditioning fighting against the new idea, and it's pushing it away. It's like, nope, that's not us. We don't do that. That's not what we do. It's not in your habitual nature. So it tends to be pushed aside, cast out. But you have to keep pressing through. The old has to be replaced. I like to say 2 things can't be in the same space at the same time. If I'm sitting in this seat, in this picture frame of this video, nothing else can take the place of where I'm sitting unless I move. Well, it's the same way with an idea in your mind. You can't hold 2 ideas at the same time. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. It's impossible. So the more that you focus on the dream, the more that takes dominant force in your mind, it becomes habitual. The old habit of thinking, I can't do this, is replaced. It's no longer there. So when you go to do something, and that thought starts to come, over time, it will be replaced by, how can I do this? Not, I can't do it, but how can I do this? You will no longer be thinking or saying things that are not in alignment with making you better, a fuller expression of the spirit in you. So, to enter into the spirit of yourself, you have to focus. Enter into the spirit of it. What is the spirit? The spirit is love, light, expansion. You are meant to expand, to become, to create. This is massively important. I'm still just starting out making these videos, but it's going to get better and better. This is a topic that I'll never stop looking at because I know the power of it, and I want to be a fuller expression of this. So why would I ever stop doing this? Even though at times, there is resistance. That's going to be normal. Of course there's resistance. That's why I go to the gym. I don't go to the gym because it makes me feel fluffy and happy when I'm doing it. No, it's hard. It hurts. But I love it. The harder you work, the more you become, and the more you can do. So you have to focus on that part. Don't focus on the bad part. Just focus on the part that you're becoming more. And keep going. Till next time, keep your mind focused on things above. You are always for expansion, and you can become better. The more you put in, the more you get out. Don't ever stop, and keep going.